least it is for me. In today's episode of Will It Run, in the previous one, we finished this Honda NSR 125. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. And today, I'm gonna take a look at this Kawasaki ER-6. As I said in the introduction video, you might have not seen that thing. This is a 2008 Kawasaki ER-6 that's crashed up front, has punctured radiator and the oil filter, and it lost all of its oil and all of the coolant. This bike hit also at the ignition switch, and the bike doesn't have any power going through it at the moment. So first thing we're gonna do is change the positions of the bikes so we can work on this. That's a bit better. Now we have a light on the subject. So the first thing I'm gonna do is check for battery voltage. I've got the seat already popped out from my search of treasures. I always search these bikes for treasures. For example, this one has a complete toolkit, and that's it. No medical kits, no bulb sets or anything like that. So let's check for battery voltage on this thing. So set it to 20 volts. And where's the other probe? Here it is. And our battery voltage is 4.86 volts. So that's not very good. Your battery voltage should be at least 12. So let's get this old junky battery out and put in some battery from our stash of known goods. If you are removing battery, you should always remove the positive terminal first and set that out of the way. With the positive terminal removed and set it out of the way, there is no chance that you accidentally hit a ground post or the ground itself. For example, this piece of shiny metal here, if I would have unscrewing this and I've touched this, this battery has 4 volts, so it's pretty much dead. But if it doesn't, it can make some sparkage. So let's remove this piece of scrap and put in the new one. If we can though, if we can. This old battery is out. I had to help myself with these pliers and lift on the negative post. So now let's insert the fresh battery and see if this bike is gonna come to life. Then we can proceed with the engine. So this battery has 12.6. That's a little bit better than the other one. It's a little bit smaller, as you can see from the gap right here, but it should be much better than it was before. So let's put in the terminals. and let's see if this bike is gonna do anything. And if you're replacing the battery, the work is the opposite of dismantle, so the positive first, negative then. So let's see here. We have the terminals torqued down. I'm gonna borrow the gauges and plug them in. This is the plug for the gauges. Headlight seen better days. So let me plug in the gauges and we'll see. As you can see, the terminals for the gauges, those little pins, are bent a little bit. So I will try to straighten those as best I can, and then we can hopefully plug it in. So that the connector was a little bit bare to get in. As you can see, it was damaged. So now let's see. Oh yeah, the fuel pump works, the gauges sorta work, and electrical system is working, I guess. So let's see if it cranks. Yeah, it cranks, but although our battery has almost 13 volts, it's probably weak to start this thing. So here comes our hummingbird. You haven't seen that for a while on the show. So let me connect the hummingbird, and we'll see if we can make this thing to turn over. I should, now that I'm thinking about it, I should probably open up the engine and try to spin it over by hand. Yeah, that's what I will do first. So let's spin it and make sure that it's spinning freely. So we have this service window on the side here, and I'm using the biggest screwdriver I have, and I'm not successful. So let's try it. Attempt number 2. Oof, it was on there. So let's see what's hiding underneath. We have a crank bolt in there. So let's I think it's like 17 or 19. So let's find that and try to bar it over. With the 17 mil in place, yeah, it looks like it has a very decent compression, and it's turning over just fine. Ooh, the compression is really strong on this one. So we can close this back up, and now let's drain the remnants of the oil. This engine uses 2.4 liters of oil. That's almost 2.5 quarts, I guess, and we have to drain this completely out and then refill it. As you can see, the most of the oil leaked, mainly, I hope mainly, because of this squish in oil filter. So let's first get this oil filter out of the way, and then we're gonna try to refill it and find ourselves another oil filter to put in. So let's drain the oil first, Everything on this bike is really stiff. I have to sit you down. So let's see what does, if anything, comes out. They were serious when they changed the oil last time, as I can see from the tightness of this plug. Yeah, we got something in there. Maybe it didn't leak all out. We'll see what we get out of this. Well, I have to apologize to you. I've done a bad judgment on this. This is 2.5 or more liters of engine oil. Let me smell that. Doesn't smell like gasoline, so that's a positive thing. I based my judgment on this inspection window, where even if I straightened the bike up, I couldn't see any oil on this, and also on this oil mess on here and on the ground. So now, if it is drained, let me change the oil filter so it doesn't block our oil flow. And I don't have this particular oil filter, but I looked on the internet, and I found out that one company offers the oil filter that is named HF204, and the same company recommends also the HF303. I have both of them. The 204 is on this CBR929, and I had one 303 in my waste pile that was on some engine that have a hole in it from the accident elsewhere. So let me get that filter off, put a new one in, and then we'll see if we can make it these things to start. So with that smashed thing out of our way, here you can see the hole that, hopefully you can see the hole that inside that oil filter. So with this thing out, I have these two used ones. So let's see if we can put one in. I will start with this one. Yeah, it fits. Torque it down to spec, and let's see if we can make this puff some, hopefully not smoke. There is a good amount of oil on this squish exhaust tube. I hope this exhaust tube is not squished closed. So let me get that down with some brake clean, and then we'll proceed. So we got it refilled with the oil, and there is one thing that I want to show you. Everybody is about the ecology and something stuff like that today's. So here is a fine example of recycling. This is an old pot that I found laying by the dumpsters. It had a hole on the bottom, so I welded it, and I'm using it like a drip pan or something like that. So I think things like this saves the planet, not Greta Thunberg. So that's just my political opinion on this. So let's get this thing started. We got our hummingbird and ready. I've got it plugged in the electricity. This is still the previous owner electricity, so shh, don't tell him. I already paid him $100,000, so I hope he don't mind a couple dollars worth of electricity. And my electrical connection is nearing its finishing date, so I'm gonna do a separate vlog on this. So let's turn this on and let's see if this thing will turn over and start. Yeah, that was easy. But it's wanting to die. Nah, there he goes, now it cleared up. As you can see, there is a hole in the radiator. The engine seems to run fine. This is going to be it for this smoking. Hopefully you can see the smoke coming out of that thing in the background. ER-6. I'm glad that you joined me on this little parts bike. I hope that in the future I will be able to bring you more interesting content with better English, better camera, external microphone, more long-term projects and something like that. But until then I have to survive, so I have to do things like this. So if you want to support me, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, and any comment down in the section will help this video and the channel. I want to thank you again. Have a nice day. Bye.